How's our financial plan coming?
Super! Chris, any advice?
With Western and Southern, preparing for your financial future can be easier than you think. Favorite receiver?
Huh?
To get started, visit westernsouthern.com.
A lot of talk this college football season has been centered around the quarterbacks and whether they're going to go one or two, but we're here to tell you right now that an underlooked position group is this wide receiver class for the 2020 NFL Draft. We're going to jump into it here, presented, of course, by our friends over at Western and Southern. But a lot of talk here. This wide receiver class, is it the best ever potentially?
I think it's the best that we've seen in our 6 years of grading college football. We did not grade that 2014 draft class, that had Odell Beckham, Mike Evans, Sammy Watkins, that had the most first rounders this decade. But I do think this one at least rivals that from the potential that it has. We have 5 guys in our top 25, all juniors, all true juniors in this class. We have 15 guys in our top 100, the wide receiver position. It is deep. It is talented. You got number 1 wide receivers. You got a little something for everybody. So this wide receiver class is the best single position group in the 2020 draft.
All right, well, let's start at the top. Let's count them down a little bit here and talk a little bit about what we like about the most of them here. This is one that starts. It's the reigning Biletnikoff Award winner, Jeudy at Alabama.
There's just not a single thing about the wide receiver position he can't do and do at a high level. You saw last year against Ole Miss, he ran away from the guy who ran the fastest 40-yard dash at the 2019 Combine. He has elite speed. He has elite ball skills. He has elite after the catch ability. The only thing he doesn't have elite is, he doesn't look like Calvin Johnson. That's about the only thing he doesn't do at an elite level. So I do think he ticks pretty much every box you'd want from a number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, I like what he has. When you're one of the 4 guys that could be wide receiver ones, and you're the best of those 4 guys that Alabama has. We'll get to more later. So next up on that list, though, we have CeeDee Lamb and then the Laviska Chennault. If you haven't seen Colorado play football, you've missed out on Chennault the past few years. But Lamb, I think we called him the better all-around receiver than Marquise Brown at the time, even last year. So we like Lamb, we like Chennault. What separates those 2 guys from the rest of the class?
Yeah, Marquise Brown last year was the first wide receiver off the draft board. We liked Lamb even better a season ago, so that's how highly we think of him as a true junior. These guys are very different type of receivers. Lamb and Chennault both offer something in their own right. Lamb has much better downfield ability, much better body control, is exceptional after the catch in his own right. Laviska Chennault, more of a running back. You just get the ball in his hands, an offensive weapon that he will produce if you just feed him the ball, get him touches. He is explosive, 220 plus pounds, probably going to run a sub 4.5, and he just will not go down after the catch. But both these guys have elite skill sets. CeeDee Lamb going into the season, I thought Jeudy was clearly the number 1 wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb's doing things this year, leading the NCAA in yards per route, 18 broken tackles on 44 catches. He is exceptional for Oklahoma.
Great downfield. It's been a lot of fun to watch him after the catch as well. Sorry, Texas fans there. So let's run. We'll go through a little bit more, a little bit quicker here. There's some big names on the list that I think we need to get to. One of them I think that we're probably a little bit different on in the fact that he's fast, he's great. Henry Ruggs.
Yes, Henry Ruggs makes the top 25 for us, the Alabama wide receiver. It hasn't produced at a super high level this year, but there's just not a lot of balls to go around in that Alabama offense. 3 wide receivers make our top 100 there, with Devontae Smith making it a little later on, though, for the Crimson Tide. So he has elite after the catch ability, is a touchdown machine, basically houses everything he gets his hands on there. His production's not necessarily going to be indicative of how he's going to produce in the NFL. I think he'll be much more of a downfield threat in the NFL. He does have legit sub maybe 4.3 type of speed, and I love his body control and ball skills. A lot of guys who have that elite speed, think of the Mike Wallaces, they can't track the ball down the football field. They're not going to go up and high point it. Henry Ruggs does exactly that.
Like that. He's had quite the guy throwing the quarterback to him. We wish you the best, Tua, in your return. Another guy on this list, though, I think we could have seen a lot more from Jalen Reagor had he had a little bit better quarterback play through his career.
Yeah, Jalen Reagor, the TCU wide receiver, if you throw him, switch his position with Jerry Jeudy, one of those Alabama guys right now, we'd be talking about him maybe in that same breath because he is that explosive as a downfield threat. I haven't seen a cornerback be able to stick with him on the vertical route tree this year, last year, doesn't matter. He just doesn't get hit. He's probably left about 500 or so yards on the table with that quarterback situation there at TCU. So unfortunate for him because that's a big part of scouting. You have to be able to see how a guy does at the catch point. That's a big part of playing in the NFL. We just haven't been able to see it with Reagor at TCU.
Another one that's a little bit unfortunate. We saw maybe the play of the year from a receiver in terms of Tylan Wallace running over Iowa State defenders, stiff-arming and using speed to burn. Does that hurt Tylan Wallace's draft stock, a torn ACL now?
Yeah, torn ACL is going to really hurt his draft stock in a loaded wide receiver class. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him return to school because of just how this wide receiver class is shaping up. I don't think you're going to be willing to take a risk on Tylan Wallace in the first, maybe even the second, with guys who are healthy and can contribute year one, and with how deep this class is. So it's very unfortunate for him. He was, like I said, one of the most explosive after-the-catch wide receivers in this class. But I just, like I said, I think with that ACL injury, not knowing how he's going to come back, I think he may have to return to Oklahoma State.
And unfortunate for Tylan, obviously there, but fortunate maybe for some guys that we're a little bit higher on that may sneak by other main websites. Who are guys that we like a little bit more than the general public?
I think USC wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. is one. You recognize the name. He's the son of the former Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back Michael Pittman. He has exceptional hands, probably the best hands in this draft class. Only a few drops in his entire college career at USC. And the interesting thing about him, he's the only guy the first guy we've mentioned here who's actually a senior in this draft class. All juniors. He's a little bit older, but he's also the first guy we've mentioned that's a bigger-bodied wide receiver, 6'4"-ish, 220 plus pounds. Exceptional at the catch point, great contested catch rate. So if you need that sort of bigger-bodied, red zone, possession type receiver, this is your guy, Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah, I like what he does. Again, in another stacked receiving core with the air raid offense. Gets the ball a little bit more to him this year. It's been a lot of fun. Another guy I think that you like that we would be remiss to not talk about, Trey Walker at San Jose State.
Yes, San Jose State wide receiver Trey Walker missed the first handful of games this season, but almost over 900 yards already on the season through 8 games now for San Jose State. He has just been exceptional. They pump him targets there because he is by far their top option. Only 5'11", 175, but he has some of the best route running chops in this draft class. That's just sort of innate feel for how to get open, how to set up defensive backs. It's something I don't think you can teach, so he's one of our picks for the biggest sleepers in this draft class.
I like where we're going here. Can't not mention Antonio Gandy-Golden from Liberty as well. But again, for more on these guys and all the rest of the wide receivers on our big board and other draft content, please be sure to go check out PFF.com.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.